Okay, I'm only going to read one chapter because my computer was broken yesterday and I had to do this before morning meeting, so I hope that's okay. It's a good one. Okay, so last time in chapter 36 and 37, the main thing that happened, which was the huge event, was that somebody was on the other side of the tunnel. And they're not sure who it is, but I think they're taking the risk in thinking and knowing that it's their father. But really it could be anybody, so we're not sure. Okay. Curfew was approaching, which brought on another fight with Mama. Fritz and I wanted to keep working. With only 2 days left before he would be expected to report for military duty, our time crunch was worse than ever. If my father was on the other side, then we could connect with him tonight and be free. And what if it's not him? Mama asked. I didn't dare to think about that. If it wasn't him, then our efforts here were doomed. No, we were doomed. We won't get much farther tonight, Mama said. We're all exhausted, and it's important for whoever is listening in our apartment to hear your voices. Besides, if there's bad news coming our way, I'd rather they found our tunnel while we're not here. Mama was right about everything, especially that we were exhausted. Too tired, in fact, to put up any reasonable protest. So, protest here meaning arguing with Mom or disagreeing with Mom for staying. So we put down our tools and followed her home. In my bedroom that night, I was so excited about what might be in the other tunnel that I was sure I would never get to sleep. But within only seconds, sleep found me anyway. I awoke early and deliberately, on purpose, made plenty of noise so that everyone else could wake up too. We had a quick breakfast, chatting cheerfully the entire time about how excited we were for Fritz to report to military service the next day, and about our confidence that once the state saw how well he served, Mama would surely be restored to her former job. Lies. I was tired of always having to lie. As soon as we felt it was appropriate, we ventured back onto the street. In our anticipation to reach the tunnel, we started down the sidewalk too quickly and bumped straight into Frau Eberhardt. The dour woman, so dour, it means severe. It means always gloomy and hard, not like a cheerful person. The dour woman clearly wasn't in a good mood this morning. She scowled when she saw us in our work clothes and brushed herself off, even though I was sure we hadn't gotten any dirt on her. I excused their poor manners while you were out of town, Frau Eberhardt told my mother, but I thought they'd have improved again once you'd returned, not worsened. You bumped into them, my mother snapped. You should be the one apologizing. Frau Eberhardt straightened herself up and evaluated my mother's appearance. I thought you were a church-going lady, but it seems you have more important plans today. Mama and I looked at each other. With so much else to think about, none of us had remembered today was a Sunday. Mama attempted to excuse it with a joke. Well, Frau Eberhard, I suppose some days the Lord wants us in his house, and some days he wants us going about his work. Which are you choosing? Frau Eberhard reacted by wrinkling her nose as if we smelled. Maybe we did. And the Lord's work is gardening? Did your daughter mention that she promised me some of the harvest from that garden? She seemed to think it might encourage me to keep quiet, in case I saw anything suspicious. Mama smiled at Fritz and me. Why don't you two go on ahead? We have to talk, mother to mother. Fritz grabbed my arm and pulled me off with him. By the time I looked back, they were already engaged in what looked like a very tense conversation. Something had changed in Mama over the last few days. She looked tired and worried, just as we all did, but she seemed younger and stronger too, as if digging the tunnel had reclaimed the spirit of who she used to be. That would mean she got it back. She got back her old spirit and her old sense of adventure and excitement. Frau Eberhardt was right, I said. I did sort of bribe her. Let Mother work it out, Fritz said. Our job is to dig. After we made it into the shelter, Fritz and I had the luxury of deciding what to do about the second tunnel without Mama getting a vote. The luxury is they have something special. They get to do that, but I think it might be a little bit sarcastic. We knew what she'd have wanted, and that once she'd made up her mind, the decision would be final. For Mama, any risk was too much risk. But Fritz thought Mama had made some good points last night. Other families have escaped through tunnels, he said. If the Stasi have gone to such efforts to barricade the ground above us, why not below as well? So he's talking about how Mama thought maybe the Stasi are building a tunnel sideways so that anybody who digs this way is going to run into that tunnel. So that's what Fritz is talking about. Like, why not have a barricade underground too? A wall of sorts. I disagreed. Why didn't Officer Muller warn us then? Officer Muller never said he was on our side. Fritz was right about that. If anything, Muller had promised just the opposite. That if we were discovered, he would be there for our arrest. I listened again with my ear pressed against the tunnel wall, but this time there were no sounds. Either the other tunnel had moved far away from us, or else nobody was digging right now. I grabbed the shovel and began digging in that direction. Whatever's ahead of us, we can't quit now, I said. Maybe it's the Stasi. But what I fear even more is missing Papa's tunnel. So Fritz relented and worked with me. We had to move carefully because of other pipes overhead, and there were large rocks in front of us, but at least we were digging again. Mama joined us soon after. When we asked what had taken so long, she said, Frau Eberhardt believes you two are up to something. I tried to convince her otherwise, but she insisted I was in denial. Children today are more slippery than they used to be. A lazy mother can miss the signs. That's what Frau Eberhardt said to Mama. Mama huffed. Ugh. She sits outside all day like a lump and then accuses me of laziness? I shrugged. You're not lazy, but in all this mud, I can believe that I'm quite slippery. Mama laughed. Mama laughed and then grew serious again when she said, our conversation moved to Herr Krause's death. She's upset about it just like the rest of us. She admitted that she was the one who had turned him in, but also insists that she had no idea what they would do to him. Is that possible? Frau Eberhardt turned him in, but she says that she didn't know something bad could happen to him? That doesn't seem possible to me. That makes me think differently about Frau Eberhardt, even more so than I thought before. I'm even more suspicious of her now. I told her to go inside and stop asking so many questions, or there would be more deaths. Does she suspect about the tunnel? Fritz asked. I don't think so, but she didn't go inside either. Shh, quiet down, I hissed. Shh. I paused from digging and pressed my ear against the dirt. The sounds in the other tunnel had begun, and they were closer than ever. It was impossible to know exactly, but I was sure whoever was on the other side must be within an arm's length of us. Then, very high up, a stick poked sideways through the dirt. It was no rounder than an earthworm, but there was a lantern light on the other side, far more light than what we allowed ourselves here. None of us breathed. The stick went forward and wiggled as if the person on the other end was feeling for more dirt or some rock. Feeling nothing. It was withdrawn. And then the more focused beam of flashlight came through. Still, we said nothing and didn't even move. We had been discovered, but by whom? Then in a low voice I well remembered from my childhood, someone sang an even more familiar tune. They dig and they rake and they sing a song.